and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, everybody, to Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal. Ruhl. That guy over there is D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter. The squad is here, and we are ready to rock. And, no talk show host has ever said, hey, we got a really subpar show for you here today. No, we got a big-time show lined up for you guys. Our guy, Josh Parisian, UFC heavyweight, will join us. We talked to him last week, D-Mac, before the fight. He got the TKO.
Wow.
He got the $50,000 performance bonus. Hey, you guys know about fighting.
We got to break into that because there was a moment, can't wait to talk to him, because he had his Rocky Balboa moment. He was down on the canvas, got rocked, and found a way to come back, not only win. So it'll be exciting to hear from him. Obviously, local kid, guy that you and I know real well through the work that he does with the veterans, and I'm so excited with him. But also, too, it's Blood and Guts, AEW, LCA tonight.
That is right.
So if I'm a little bit, I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm permeating right now.
You're ready to leave right now, but you do have responsibilities here, D-Mac.
Well,
we have to take care of this.
And you got it. That's why it's a good thing it doesn't start till later on the night. But everybody who's going to be down there, look for me. Let's get some pictures, and we're gonna have fun. Yeah, you're gonna be down there.
Oh yeah. I'll be down there.
Braylon's in tow. So,
is he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't want to split up the superstar connection. What you two have going on. So we got a big night planned.
That is cool. I'm looking forward to that this evening as well. If you're on our YouTube channel, feel free to tap in, subscribe, and tap into the YouTube chat thread. We'll take your thoughts on the show, and certainly you guys do steer the ship from time to time of this thing. The Pistons making some big-time moves as well. Kyrie Irving is staying in Brooklyn, and all of it is going on right now. But it's pretty apparent to me. Not only, and look, I know what this will devolve into. This will devolve into people, saying, give Neal his flowers. He wants his flowers and stuff like that. D-Mac, sometimes in life, you just figure things out through experience.
This ain't something you heard. It's pretty much something that you knew. It's just sort of along your baseline of what you called the whole time. I understand it, but you told me it has to do, what did you say the secret ingredients is? Reading and common sense?
Reading and common sense, and that's what it was. And no, I appreciate everybody, though, that did give me the props or whatever on social media. But the Pistons basically took on a couple of contracts, created some cap space, and that's the way that they're going to roll out. And, we'll get a little bit deeper into it. And it wasn't something where it was that difficult to figure out, because you know that things can be easy from time to time because of who's involved. And the Knicks are going to be the Knicks. And anytime there's a faux big-time free agent out there, and look, Brunson's great, and I'll defer to Spencer and the NBA guys here. Brunson's a very, very good player. It's just, Spence, for me, when you see the writing on the wall and you know what the New York Knicks are and you know how the New York Knicks have always been, this just reeked of the New York Knicks. And they're going to throw a big bag at him. They're going to throw $100 million at a 3 or a 4 option and ask him to be the 2 option, because that's where the Knicks live. That's where they've always lived. And that's why they're a non-factor over the last 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. That's why James Dolan is the worst owner in sport, and it just continues to add on to that bag. And like you said, Brunson is not worth that. He is not worth the $100 million. There's a legitimate quote from the franchise saying Jalen Brunson makes us a championship contender, which is laughable because he's not that type of player. And you're doing what you got to do if you're the Knicks, though. So, I'm a Knicks fan too. Pistons are my team, but I like the Knicks as well. From Carmelo's years there, I kind of followed them after that.
Why? What return on investment do you get from that?
Not much. I want to go see a game in Madison Square Garden.
I respect that. I'd love to call a game there one day.
Yeah, but. No, they suck, and this is a total Knicks move. I called it. I said it months ago. This is a total Knicks move, is to overpay for Jalen Brunson.
Well, isn't it apropos? Sacramento Sacramento's in the draft, right? And then the Knicks just pretty much, like, you're talking about Jalen Brown. Like, this is who we're going at. Are we sure they're going after Jalen Brown? Yes, we're sure this team that's what they want, and they don't really care. And they have that sort of, always have that attitude. They're sort of like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They
right?
are.
They're the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NBA, where it's sort of, and maybe
overvalued.
And you know what? Here's the thing. The nicest thing I'll say about the Leafs is that I think that the Leafs try to operate a little bit more. They operate better, right? They have a better shot of getting out this because it goes down to the ownership. And as much disdain as I have for that organization, but they do things a lot of the same ways. I see Toronto moving more towards the winning factor. I don't ever see New York win towards the winning factor because why? It starts at the top, right? It starts at the top, and until that owner's not there. I mean, look, it just blows me away. It goes back to years ago, but when the owner's arguing with
Charles Oakley, like real big time and stuff like this, and he doesn't really care about his fans.
Yeah. It's all about the Madison Square Garden, in his opinion. Yeah. So good for Troy Weaver because he realizes that he's going to utilize that to move forward. My question, just like it was yesterday, Neal, and I will continue to ask this, is what does this mean, big picture wise? When does the big free agent? To me, it says you're not trying to make a big splash this year. You don't need to. Probably going to what we talked about tomorrow, letting the kids sort of play together, see what they got. Availability is the number one, so hopefully they're healthy. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were some subsequent moves, too, that we'll get into as far as the next segment is concerned. Mike G in the YouTube chat thread. And I meant to ask you this yesterday, D-Mac, and I forgot. And I had a couple people ask me this to ask you. If that I don't know, I probably said that wrong, but whatever. Mike G says, denting the cup does not give me the big D. And that was the story. The Avs, dropped the cup 30 seconds after getting it.
Before they even took their picture. And they didn't really, it's sort of, I wouldn't consider that like a drop. The worst thing is when it drops and then the bowl hits, because that's when the damage is done.
Right.
So it sort of got the side, but honestly, that thing's got more dents in it than anything. Like, it doesn't sit flat. When you sit it down on the base that it has, it's all warped up or whatever. And when you take the cup and you're washing it off the end of the night or in the shower or whatever, you rub your hands on it. I mean, there's dents anywhere.
So it's like a table at a diner, right? Like it just sits like this all the time.
Yeah, I did hear a rumor though that allegedly the bowl might have came off one time and somebody had to solder it back on or something like this. But that's legend of the cup. You'll have to ask the cup. The cup could talk, or the cup could write a book. But
so you'll have to go win the cup and
speak to Lord Stanley himself.
Yeah.
Well, here's the beauty. In 4 or 5 years, when this Red Wing team wins it, I can touch it because my name's on it. So I'll be able to bring it, and when we're around it, I'll be able to show you, and we can go and.
Do you ever drop it? Do you ever? No.
Never. Please.
Oh my God!
It's like kids. No. The only time is the only time that anything like off was Lebda dropped it at Chelly's after the 08. But that was Brett Lebda. Right, Lebs? Yeah, exactly. So, worst things that happened. Do you know why they implemented the Cup Cop? Right? Think about that. Like, there's stories from the Stanley Cup back in the Montreal days that was left at the street corner. You know what I'm saying? And people like, hey, somebody want to take this? But it's just because in all the excitement, you want to make sure somebody's always responsible for it so it doesn't get left behind, which would be weird. But, they leave the dents in. And the bowl is dented. So when you see guys drink out of the bowl, you see why they move the cup, because it's bowled and then it's flat. So they usually try to drink out of the one side instead of the other, so it doesn't come and get you rebound.
But it's a matter of time before that side becomes compromised as well, structurally.
Well, the thing is almost 100 years old.
And that is true.
Right? So, I mean, it's greatest tradition in sports. And I always love, too, like seeing now, there's Colorado captain Gabriel Landeskog and his kids drinking out of the cup. And like those, that's what it's all about. It's the greatest trophy of sports because you get to share it.
Right, absolutely. Some Woodward news as well, too, Spence, right?
Yeah.
Today, as a matter of fact.
Today is the day, yeah. Heavyweights are returning, 5 to 7 live show on the Woodward Heavyweights channel. I had to lock Easy in the basement for a week to make sure I won that donut eating contest, but I let him out. So yeah, we're back.
That was a great play by you, by the way.
You know, pro moves, and we're back 5 to 7 today. Come check us out on the Woodward Heavyweights channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike G also says D-Mac didn't drop anything. My D-Mac bobblehead hasn't dropped his stick in like 5 years.
Absolutely. So. That thing's coming out. Only the deathmatch D-Mac. This guy's struggling a little bit, but that's because of the purpose. They all have purposes.
All right, absolutely. But also, too, as we said, AEW in town at LCA. D-Mac will be out there. You're pretty tight with some of those guys, aren't you?
I'm very friendly, yes. Yes, exactly. I'm a big fan too, and it's pretty cool too because a lot of these guys are hockey fans. So I love what they got going on. I love the show. Anybody who watched Forbidden Door, which was the AEW New Japan pay-per-view on Sunday, just with all the talent. So props to Tony Khan for bringing another wrestling outfit into the mainstream on television, everything else. And this is their first trip to LCA, so I mean, it's gonna be packed. I mean, it's sold out for like people are gonna be hanging off the ceiling, and it's the atmosphere there. I can't wait.
Rack on our YouTube chat, though, remember you can get involved as well. It says, sweet, I got something to listen to on my way downtown for AEW today. And I'll say this, D-Mac, because you know how I roll. You're a man of the people. You're always sitting ringside because that's what you are. That's who you are. And I lord over everybody in the suites, right? We're both very on brand, both of us. Absolutely. Because I need my own bathroom. Well, I need my own refrigerator with my own
on the floor.
Right.
You have to.
Absolutely. You guys get it. You understand how it works. But I lord over everybody, and from time to time I'll look down at you when they catch the camera on you or stuff like that. You legit look like a child on Christmas morning. And that's not hyperbole. I'm not overstating that. You genuinely look like a child on Christmas morning or a child on his birthday day. You are that.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I love wrestling, all different forms, and I can watch it differently. You know, like tonight it's more of the brand that I enjoy, more of that combat, ECW brand, more fighting. There might be some carnage. It is blood and guts, so I'm sure there's some blood, obviously, doing the death match and watch it. But I just love the passion, Neal. That's what I love, the passion. We all grew up on it. And, to me, as I get older, life is wrestling. Wrestling is life, stuff like this. So I'm thoroughly entertained with what these guys do. I think that some of the greatest talent. But, I'm like anybody else. I'm just like everybody else going there. And I think that's along too is the commonality that we have. We can all be fans of different things.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's pretty incredible to watch, and it's it's humorous. It's kind of cool, all of that at the same time. But D-Mac will be in his element tonight. Don't forget, about 14 minutes from now, we'll be joined by Josh Parisian, UFC heavyweight as well. But D-Mac certainly is the guardian of ringside. That's safe to say.
Guardian of ringside, you know what? Because I come by it very honestly, and you can too. What am I talking about? Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Yes, whether you're safe and at home, it gives you peace of mind no matter where you are traveling. Every which way you can monitor from your phone, turn the lights on, turn the AC on for the pets, whatever you need. So if you want to be part of the Woodward Sports Big D Energy family, I need you to call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
87 straight flannel protected days. Guardian Alarm. Give it to him, flannel. 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Stay out of my house. Get protected. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them Woodward Sports Big D Energy sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Got to double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals. Plus, they'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one of the 26 locations, with more on the way, work best for you. Chili Peppers Tanning. Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here in the building as well. But certainly last night, the big news that broke, the Detroit Pistons trade with the New York Knicks. They take on a couple of contracts, and they basically give the Knicks some cap space so they can do their deal, and they can sign their $100 million free agents as a quote-unquote one option. But the breakdown of the deal, the Knicks sent the Pistons Nerlens, Noel, and Alec Burks in order to clear cap space so they could sign Jalen Brunson to a $100 million plus contract. Pistons also scoop up a couple of second-round picks. And this was something, D-Mac, I don't want to do I told you so, because I don't do that. But you could see this though, because it was so easy to see in that all the factors were there. It was like a Saturday night with a Sunday off, with a nice evening, with a lot of gypsy in the cabinet, and your deck, and a great sunset. All the elements were there to have a good time, and that's what Troy Weaver did. And look. You can say that. Does a deal like this, does that say, hey, the Pistons are out of the free agent market? I don't think that's the case, because they did all this and they still have $25 million-ish in cap space. Here's my interpretation of what's going on with that trade. You acquired two flippable assets. So like anybody who says, I don't like this trade, again, it goes back to the whole thing where then I don't think you understand it. Because they're not done getting their return on this trade. Because Noel and Burks are flippable assets.
So a lot of the same analogy you're using is when we traded Jeremy Grant.
Bingo.
The first day it was like, oh, we got this protected pick back and whatever. But that just moved the needle for the next move. Then it made it into one move. So you're saying this is sort of along the same lines. What gets me thinking is that, okay, so the conversation, right, when you're going to make the Kemba Walker deal and stuff like this had to be in there. Oh, what about the rest of it? Oh, yeah, you're trying to get Brunson, so we got to clear more cap space. Okay, let's just do it this way. We'll revisit that tomorrow. Right, and see what it is, because then Troy Weaver knew. It wasn't like he had to make a split-second decision. A lot of times we see at the trade deadline, and are you going to make this or you're not going to make this? We got to go now. He had a night to sleep on it. He had, okay, how am I going to benefit this way? Because when I look at this, what it screams to me is that slow and steady, but he's got a game plan and he's executing it, right? It needs to be down the road. Right, we need to let this play out. His moves have effectiveness, right? So one move leads to the other instead of what we have going on with Alavila and just give everybody away and do right. It's what you're explaining to me is the mentality of where we're going, and just like the Jeremy Grant trade, where it was like the first piece of the puzzle. This is in the same way as working the cap and seeing what we're going to get.
And there's a degree of it to that in my mind, but also, D-Mac, at the same time, with that space, you're not out of the mix for anybody per se. You can get involved. If you're the Pistons, you can still get involved in anything that you want to get involved in. And there's very much a Steve Yzerman-esque flavor to this, in that what does Steve Yzerman have? He has cap space, he has draft capital, He can do anything he wants to do. If he wants to go after a big fish, he can go after a big fish. If he wants to add role guys, he can add role guys. He can rent out cap space for draft capital, a lot the same way that the Pistons are doing that. They acquired assets and didn't change anything. See, I mean, I think people are forgetting that the Pistons right now can get involved in anything they want to get involved in. At the trade deadline this year, they have the ammunition to do what they want to do, because again, you go to these two contracts that they took on, they both have club options for next year. So you can take that on and tell Nerlens, Noel, deuces. You're out of here, and that's it. So for me, this was just a cap space rental situation, and that's not to say the Pistons, as soon as free agency starts in a couple days here, that's not to say they won't be players. They can be if they want to be. Maybe there's nobody out there that really grabs them. Maybe there's nobody out there. But even if they do, they can go the sign and trade route still.
Does this tell you that doesn't mean their priority is to give a max contract out? Because if they, doesn't seem like this year that's a priority. I would start looking in to see, okay, what is he planning ahead for? And who could he go out there and get? You mentioned it, sign and trades. That's huge in the NBA. So who's available in that aspect? I just think that he's cooking down there as far as the brain power and as his finger on the pulse of what he wants his team to be. I think it changed, right? Obviously when Sacramento, and he was able to get Jaden Ivey, because I think if you ask Troy Weaver, no, we didn't think we were going to get him. That was the B plan, and it sort of changed everything up, but he also knew where he was going. If the B plan didn't come, Neal, and you go, oh, we're on the B plan, now what? They had a contingency, and that's what, the more and more layered that this gets, the deeper that it gets, the more we get into the draft capital, the salary cap, what we're going to do, the conversations. You nailed it to me. We're in the mix. We're in the conversation. And if you're in the conversation, we're in the conversation in basketball, we're in the conversation in hockey. You got to think we're near in the conversation in football. Right? So that's what you want, because that means competency. Competency by Troy Weaver. So it might not mean what you thought it meant for this year, making a splash, but it looks like it's solidifying, building, moving forward.
And when you talk about plan A's and plan B's, I think that as far as Troy Weaver's concerned, that's going all the way to the D, the E, and the F. And
explain why that, because you sort of have the Waze map to Troy Weaver.
The Waze map.
Well, that's what it is. It's like,
I'm more of a Google Maps guy myself, but I got
Google
you.
Maps, which way you're going to turn and stuff like that, because he's not taking the generic pathway. He's not taking all the freeways and all the toll roads and stuff like that, right? But so elaborate on that and say why is it not just like the A and the B, but it's this C, D, E, F, G. And all this the way which you want. That's competency I want to hear, but what is it that you see in how he's doing it?
Because all right, so here this could be the A plan, and we don't even know what the A plan or the B plan is.
That won't come out until he's comfortable enough to won a championship, and we're sitting around having a cigar and whatever like this.
Right.
Remember back in the day?
Back in the day.
Yeah.
No, see, here's the deal though. It kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. In that, all right. Say the plan A is we're not comfortable with some of these big name free agents that are out there in terms of giving them a max. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit tight. We're going to sit tight right now. I'll sign Bagley, and we'll move forward, and I have this cap space, and I have these flippable assets, and we'll revisit the plan and see what the avenues are at the trade deadline. Another year development for Cunningham and Sadiq Bey, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and you move on. That could be the plan A. The plan B could be, okay, I maximized my assets that I can get with this cap space. I'll re-sign Bagley. Maybe I go tier 2, like Karis LeVert or somebody like that. That's another available avenue. That's to you. That's your plan B. Your plan C is you say, all right, we'll punt on this season, and then next year in free agency, when we got bags on bags on bags that we can spend, we'll get involved, and we'll be the heavy hitters there. Then there's the plan D, where you can rerun this thing next year in the offseason and do the exact same thing that you've just done and acquire more draft capital and acquire, you leverage your cap space to be able to do it again. That's your plan D. And then your plan E can be you rerun this plan to the trade deadline next year, looking at guys who have 1 year left on their deal or whatever the things are like that. And you can be in the mix and you can dictate because you have the cap space. You have the big stack at the table. You see what I'm saying? Like we're going, but these are
Making
expensive.
me smile every which way you go because you're giving me options.
Right. So it's Spence. I mean, tell me these are all avenues that you have.
No, you're right, and that's what I think. This move, bringing in these guys, like I said yesterday, Nerlens, Noel, he could teach Stu and Darren how to be a legitimate NBA contender, and then get traded to a contender or a defender, and then get traded to a contender at the deadline. Alec Burks is a guy you can bring in. He can shoot. He can make his own shot. Expiring contract. I like it a lot. I think this is going to be they're prepping for the 2023 NBA free agency, which is going to be Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, maybe make a run at one of those guys.
Or you trade for them.
Yes.
The year before their deal expires, if Devin Booker tells Phoenix, "Hey, this ain't it, bro.
It's not working out." Yeah, and that's what I see, something like that. Because next year's free agent class is, it's the LeBron James, the Russell Westbrook, the Nikola Jokic. These guys probably aren't going anywhere, so they're probably going to stay where they are. But when you look at after that, like we said, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, those are superstars that might not be happy where they are and could be on the move. So.
And Don Rivera says, what if Noel heats up with Cade and you build his tradability? And there is that too. That window is out there as well. And Noel can help you, like in terms of a rim protector to some degree.
Sure.
And you can kick the tires on that and see what happens. I mean, all these things are out there. Jose De La O says Waze Maps has a Cookie Monster as a voice, which is funny for like 5 minutes.
And then you miss a turn. And
yeah, man. I was never a big Waze guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm.
I just use Apple Maps. That works for me.
Do you? Yeah. I'm Google Maps. That's how I roll out. And Waze or Google 248.
Yeah.
Should we do it that way?
Yeah.
I just like the versatility of Google Maps.
Yeah.
It's a little dry and boring. There's no silly little guy with the police hat on, a couple miles down the road. I don't go that route, but it's what it is. Chuck says, Neal, no path he takes closes off ramps if he doesn't like where things are going, and that's it too.
Facts.
That's the other thing about it. There is complete and total versatility.
That's
on the fly.
You nailed it right there. It gets me thinking, though, Neal, right now, is like, it's almost like, well, do I want them to make a splash to somebody that's not with what's coming up in free agency in a few years? And to your point about letting the kids get out and play, healthy and play together to see what they got, would it be a bad thing? Would you be totally against if the play on the court was better, the team improved, but maybe the record wasn't, and then benefited you again in the draft? I mean, that's a conversation that I think Troy Weaver sort of has to have, and it's the luxury of having options. Yeah,
and there is some talk right now about Marvin Bagley is either close to. This is just Twitter talk.
No, yeah, they signed him.
So it is a done deal. We got that confirmed from whoever. I'm seeing the
Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report saying it. Just north of $10 million per year.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro.
That's this guy Troy Weaver. I'm buying a Troy Weaver jersey with a $sign as the number. Like this guy is the man.
Come on, bro.
It's beautiful.
Come on.
It's beautiful. Everything he does just makes me happier.
Come on, man. Bro.
Right that boy.
Bro.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, man. It is incredible. When we come back, scheduled to be joined by Josh Parisian, UFC heavyweight, coming off a very big win. Certainly we'll get back in to the Troy Weaver and the Pistons stuff as well. They made some roster moves because they had to, and I don't think there are many people out there that were against it. And we'll discuss that as well after I discuss the buffets at Big Boy with you, because they are back at participating locations every weekend from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Don't forget the classics. They're still there. The Slim Jim, the Dolly Chicken Sandwich, of course, the original Big Boy Hamburger as well. Find your nearest location at bigboy.com. The buffet is back. Act accordingly at Big Boy.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You just got the $50,000 bonus. How does that sound?
Dude, it's like the best, one of the best nights of my life. Not the best night, but it's up there.
Yes! 50K.
Yes!
Oh my God!
And that is UFC heavyweight Josh Parisian after his big win over Alain Badeau. UFC on ESPN 38 over the weekend in Las Vegas on Saturday night. He was a performance of the night, picked up a $50,000 bonus from UFC as well, as we welcome in Michigan's own Josh Parisian. Josh, the eye, I'm sure, feels a little better with some extra coin in your pocket, right? Look at that right there. How you doing?
Yeah.
Man?
I'm doing really good. I'm on vacation now, actually. The eye feels fine. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I feel great.
Well deserved, brother, and couldn't be more proud of you. Obviously, talking to you last week. I guess first of all, before we get into the fight specifically, can you just talk about, like in a week, you said you're on cloud 9 now. Going from where you were preparing for the match, but to be able to get here, because that's got to be the gratitude in itself, or the accomplishment in itself. Can you tell everybody about how you're feeling now, sitting and doing this interview as opposed to last week?
Yeah, before the fight, I obviously deal with nerves, but like in our last interview that we had, I said that was something that I had worked on through the camp, dealing with the nerves. Feeling better before the fight. And the one big difference that I had before the fight was I actually wanted to fight. Every fight I've had in the UFC before then, by the time I got there, I was tired from being so stressed about it and everything. And this time I felt good because I wanted to fight. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to perform. And I was able to do that. And like it's been 4 or 5 days since the fight, and I do feel super grateful. I'm grateful to win. I'm grateful that everything played out how I wanted it to. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to feel good about the fight. I wanted to fight, and just everything fell in line for me.
Talking with Josh Parisian here on Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network, coming off that big win over Alain Badeau on UFC on ESPN 38. And Josh, just do you realize? I mean, I'm sure you do, obviously, but I was up north in a golf weekend getaway with the guys, and we're all sitting in a bar in Oscoda, Michigan, and watching the fight, and people are getting hype. And I mean, do you realize the implications of everything that happened? I mean, and around the country, national television and everything like that. Do you feel validated to some degree as far as your career as a fighter and everything like that? I mean, I know you don't want to boil it down to one fight or anything like that, but do you get a sense of validation after that win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you fight on the local scene and you're just looking at the UFC, like these guys are the best in the world, and you want to get there and you want to fight the best in the world as well. But when you get there, you're like, you wonder, like, am I part of that pool that's the best in the world? And I've had one win. There was the decision, and any decision you have, anybody could be like, well, I think the other guy won. But this is the fight that I had where I finished the fight, my first finish. So it does validate me feeling like I belong in the UFC.
Let's take it back to the fight, bro, because you had your Rocky Balboa moment, and it's one of these things that I could feel it because it was either put up or shut up. And can you take us back? Because you got rocked early. We were looking for you to stand up. Like you said, if you're confident, you're standing up, and then you got rocked. Did you get rocked? Did you? It looked like you got rocked. Can you take us back to maybe take us through those moments of getting hit, and then eventually, because for a minute there, Neal and I, we were holding our breath because you were pretty much close to being done. Did you feel that, or can you just take us through the moment and what led you to dig down deep and to eventually come back?
Yeah, it was a confusing moment because I was standing, and then there was just a little tiny skip in my, I don't know, like almost like a DVD skips. Like I was standing and then I was on my back. I don't remember getting hit. I don't remember anything that led me to being on my back. But I got there and I was fine when I came to, and I was like, oh well, we're fighting on the ground then.
So really, like, so you pretty much you came to when he's standing over you trying to throw those hammer punches or coming down. So what is your mentality where, like you said, okay, I wasn't rocked, and you must have, like, he hit you on the button, but it doesn't mean that he like knocked you out. I think that's the thing. It just sort of turned your lights off for a minute, but your lights came back on. And people don't understand that is when you get knocked out, sometimes it's just like a light switch where you're like, wait, how did this happen? And other times it's like you're marred. But so you realized you were in a fight on the ground. So take us from there. And when did you, because you have to go from underneath and be in in a bad spot. What was it in your mindset, or how did you eventually take over the fight? Because you didn't win by decision, bro. You came back and you finished that fight. So take us through that process.
You know, my last fight before this, I actually lost, and it was because I was on the ground, on my back the whole time. And one big thing we did in this training camp is we did lots of scrambling, lots of creating space, taking advantage of opportunity, doing what we can to get back to our feet. And another important thing that we did was not getting emotionally connected to the result of everything I do. So what I mean by that is, like, I try to get up, and I in my head I'm getting up, but I don't get up. Sometimes that's demoralizing. You're like, oh, I wanted this to happen, it didn't happen, and then you start to break. But we worked hard on just like getting here. It didn't work. We'll go to the next thing. We'll go to the next thing. We'll go to the next thing. We never stop. We never stop until we get the position we want. So everything that we worked on, it came to play, it came to light in this fight, and I'm glad we did it.
Talking with Josh Parisian here, big heavyweight UFC victory on ESPN last Saturday night. And you know what that tells me, Josh, and this was something I noted to the people we were watching the fight with at the bar. This was a big corner win, I think, for the Parisian camp as well, because you talked about mentalities of not being married to a result. You look at James, Danny, Chris. I mean, James has been with you for 11 years now. I mean, it's just in that video that we played with the performance bonus and everything like that, that's how life's it's supposed to work like that, man. When you put in the time and you put in the years and you put in the results and you take the shots and you're out there, you're bleeding, man. You're bleeding on the mat. You're teetering a little bit, but you get up and you come back. You guys circle the wagons. I think that was a corner win. People say that, you know, when you have a good corner, you have an advantage. And I just think the Parisian camp, that was a victory for the Parisian camp.
Yeah, no, it was a victory for everybody involved. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to have a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, I needed so many people in my corner to, not even at my corner in the fight, just in life, to watch my kid and Jen, my girlfriend, to help me with everything and make it so that I can train twice a day. And it's just, there's just so much involved from everybody to help me get that win. So it was a win for everybody.
Josh, on our YouTube chat thread here, people have some questions for you as well. And Jake Wagoner asked this one. He said, I was a little concerned you were going to punch yourself out and the ref wasn't going to stop it, even though there were a few opportunities it could have been stopped before it finally was. And I saw that in the fight, too. You kind of looked at the referee, for a split second, and, then you had to go back to work, certainly. And you just kept throwing blows. You were never going to punch yourself out, right? Victory was too close, wasn't it?
I was definitely getting tired with my shoulder. I will say I eventually would have had to switch something up and go to another arm or something, do something different. Yeah. Maybe try to go for a submission. I was getting pretty sore, but yeah, the first round, right at the end of it, I landed 26 shots where he didn't really do anything. He was just kind of holding on and just sitting there. And it was a little surprising to me because that ref came in the back before the fight, and he was very clear. He said, if you're not making doing anything that's intelligent to defend yourself, I'm going to stop it. So that's why I kept looking at him, because I hit him 26 times, and he's not jumping in, and I don't think this guy's doing anything, intelligent to stop getting hit. He's just getting hit in the face. So I thought he was going to stop it there, but what I think happened is I think that the round was almost over, so he thought that he was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I don't think is right, but, I think that if I'm hitting you and you're not doing anything, that's just the rules, but we got it in the second, so same thing.
So what's next for Josh Parisian? What's next? I mean, please enjoy the money, enjoy the vacation, enjoy the downtime. But then what is next? Because I think that definitely what Neal said is that you put yourself out there in people's mouths. I think the way that you did it, the person that you are, the more they hear from you. But what's next for Josh Parisian?
So right now, that was the last fight of my contract. So I guess technically, kind of weird, I'm not signed to the UFC, but they will will renegotiate a contract for another set of fights, and so I'm waiting for that. As far as me, I'm going to keep training. I'm going to keep doing the same thing I always do. I never stop. I haven't stopped training in 13 years, actually. But we will go back and look at the fight, and we'll see what I need to improve on and what needs to change. And so often we don't change things, and we don't try to get better off of wins, because if you won, like, you don't think that you need to change anything. Everything you did was working, but we try not to do that. We try to get better even off of wins. So we'll go back, look at what happened, watch some tape, and just get better.
Well, timing's everything. So if you were going to fight in the lab, we brought this up last week when we talked to you, and you know what? You took that moment and you embraced it and you came out. So I think that benefit UFC better up that fight contract for you, because you definitely earned it, brother. You definitely earned it.
I hope so. I'm only 2-2, but the last fight of my contract, which is the most important one, is I got a bonus. So
what have you done for me lately? We'll never be able to take fight of the night away from you. Always continue with being true with that emotion and being you, bro. Couldn't be more proud to call you my friend, and watching what you're doing. You're a great example to everybody.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the YouTube chat thread here, Josh, lots of praise for you too. Tammy Chin says, "Congratulations, Josh." EFOG3, hell yeah, Josh. So you had a lot of Big D energy in your corner as well, man. So we appreciate you. we appreciate you popping on here with us. And whenever the news breaks of what's next, we'll get you back on here. I mean, you're part of the family now, Josh. So you're in here, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me on again. It was an honor the first time. It's even more the second. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Give it up for Josh Parisian, everybody here, UFC heavyweight. Well, free agent right now. Give the man the bag.
Give the man his bag.
It's time to get the bag.
That's it.
I love it, but no.
We got to get a graphic, Justin. Neal's bag watch. Big bag watch. Josh Parisian needs the big bag he's earned.
I know we're up against it right now, but I do want to ask D-Mac this too. And I was going to ask Josh this, but we kind of ran out of time with him. Real quick, D-Mac, because my son actually, I was watching it at the bar, and I was FaceTiming with my son, who's becoming a big UFC fan. And he pointed this out to me, and I didn't think about it. How big is it when you get popped and that cuts below the eye instead of above the eye?
That's a good point. You know, the swelling will come up as you see, but as far as the blood leaking down and your vision, yeah, when you get cut on top, or in splitting your head, I remember I got split for 40 stitches, split open like a watermelon. A contusion cut. I got hit with a punch on my helmet and it split me. So I'm fighting with my helmet on, and there's blood coming down in my eyes, and I'm like, what the hell? Because I still got my helmet on. Well, I took my helmet off.
You're like, somebody's bleeding here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I got him good. Wait, I can't see. So, great observation. Great observation.
Very cool, too, by all you guys checking in on the fight and everything like that. Got a couple of social media messages that you guys were watching. But that's the way it's supposed to be, guys. You put in the work. You take the lumps. And I couldn't be more happy for Josh.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
100%, man. Good. It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
But you nailed it. The way it's supposed
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's supposed to be at the end of the day. And you mentioned about his team and stuff like that. And dude, that video that we showed, just that genuine raw emotion, and we're lucky because we know him a little bit more, right? So we have conversations, and what you see is what you get, and couldn't be prouder. He's one of your own, Michigan.
Absolutely. Hey, let me tell you about mybookie.com. Listen, bettors don't let bettors bet alone. So grab a few cold ones, call up your best friends, and get ready for an action-packed UFC 276. So those of you that were on MyBookie and you took Josh minus the 120 that he closed at, just saying, you did well for yourself. And there were a few of you. I got a couple screenshots from folks. There were a few of you, so you know what? Good for you. And there's a big one coming up, as we said, in UFC 276. But either way you go with it, you can walk away a winner with MyBookie. Right now, when you join the MyBookie community, you'll get an instant deposit bonus. Use a promo code Woodward to match half of your deposit up to $1,000. Several big-name UFC fighters are dropping their own predictions in the MyBookie social channels all week long. So as we said, lots of options to choose from. If you don't know who to back, bet one fight, parlay multiple bets, raise the stakes on UFC. It's going to be entertaining, folks. We know that. Don't forget to use the promo code Woodward to bet with the rest of the MyBookie community. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby. Talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Ribbit. When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. That's Big Frog and Novi, with no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround. You can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Whether it's embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, or screen printing, Big Frog has the styles you want. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4BIG-FROG. That's 844-4BIG-FROG. Bigfrog.com/Novi. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
On and poppin', Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter here in the building. On our YouTube chat thread, Darren's MVP says, "Hey, Little P Energy. Hi, welcome back to Big D Energy on Woodward Sports Network." That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun yesterday.
Welcome back to Little P.
Little P Energy.
On this hump day, Wednesday.
Your most mediocre show here on Woodward Sports. Happy to have you. No, we did have a lot of fun here yesterday, chopping it up with everybody. But I was just talking with D-Mac during the break, and for those of you that watched the fight, we have Josh back on here, number one, because as I talked about, that story's the way things are supposed to be. And number two, this weekend, Spencer, that took me back to a time where, you get, when you work in media, when you work in sports media, sometimes you get a little clouded in as far as like when you watch something, what you're rooting for. Sometimes you're rooting for the storyline because it makes your work life a little bit easier. Sometimes it's the people you work with, all that kind of stuff. With Josh, man, there was no like work connection or anything like that. It was just getting to know him and genuinely rooting for somebody. He takes it to the brink of defeat, and then brings it back and win. It's been a minute. I was just telling D-Mac that. It's been a minute where I was 1,000,000% invested strictly as a fan. That was it.
Yeah.
It was hype, man. It was really cool.
It was very fun to watch. It was a great card, great fight. His fight, the ending fight on the main card, it was great. And yeah, like we said, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. So glad he got that fight of the night bonus, and he deserved it.
And I ordered a thick AF shirt as well, so I'll be rocking that coming up in just a little bit. But no, we do want to get back into the Pistons stuff certainly because there were roster moves that had to be made, right? And there is some discussion, certainly, in our chat thread here on Big D Energy. Our guy, James Edwards from The Athletic. The Pistons will not pick up the team options of Frank Jackson, which that guard room got really crowded on draft night. Yeah. Very fast. Luka Garza and Carson Edwards. Additionally, Detroit's two-way guys will be Braxton Key and Buddy Boeheim, who can shoot the blood out of the basketball.
Yes, he can.
So, Pickett no longer holds one of those spots. And there was, now here's a funny one on the YouTube chat thread. Any chance you could get Josh Parisian to fight Alavila?
I'd pay to see that, for sure.
No, we just want Al gone. We don't want him dead.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys are so vicious. Just leave the office. Just leave the door. Take the nameplate off the door.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brandon Katz says, Garza will have a good career overseas, but he's not an NBA player. And look, guys, let's be real. I know that we had our fun with it. And, it was fun to have those discussions and all that. But at the end of the day, if you can't guard in the NBA, I mean, if, on a switch, when they get you on a switch and you're on an island, that's just the way that it's going to be,
man. It's the mobility, right? It's the mobility. All the games have sort of changed. I always talk about the size in hockey's now the speed. Well, the mobility in basketball, you don't need the down low, the bangers, the centers underneath the rim. It's a 3-point game, but it's a pick and pop. It's a roll. It's guys moving. Your big guys got to be able to move. And what do we see more? What do we see more in this day, right? Your so-called center or the guy playing the 5 popping out for a 3, being a threat from
and
that.
Even more than it's
and then
defensively.
it draws if you have a big in there, then they draw the big out to the 3-point line all the time to take it away anyway. So the game's evolved, but you need versatility, right?
Yep.
That speed, and you got to be able to move.
Yeah, eFog3 on the YouTube chat thread. Sup, Neal? Sup, eFog? Good to have you with us. Sup. But I think it's one of those things where even more than offensively, it's defensively because. And Spencer, you know this, man. Like the ball screen, the pick and roll has been around NBA basketball forever, and it ain't going anywhere. And the reason it ain't going anywhere is because it works. Yeah. Like that. That's the way that it is. And your best threat to stop it is to have a center that's capable. And I'm not saying you got to win every battle. Certainly, I mean you're not winning every battle against Chris Paul when he has a 7-footer isolate on him. But you gotta give yourself a shot, man.
Yes. Well, isn't the NBA about disrupting flow?
That's all it is.
You need to disrupt flow.
That's all it is. You got to do it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
3 times a possession. It's 24 seconds on the shot clock. Takes about 7 seconds to run the play. You got to disrupt 3 times.
Yep.
And to do that, you need a big. You need a big that can guard a guard. That's just what it is.
You need a big that can move their feet at the top. Like you said, you don't got to lock it down. You don't got to do anything like that. But you have to be able to at least switch on somebody, cause some havoc, stay in front of them, move your feet, shuffle your feet, stay with that guard, at least to go out in front on those guys, to go out there and put some pressure on the ball handler so he's not just blowing right by guys. And that's what, unfortunately, I liked the draft pick of Garza. I thought, if it works out, that's great. But he proved that he's not able to do that at an elite level, which is what the NBA is. So it's important that we get more. And now we've got the defense and the athleticism in our front court with Nerlens Noel, with Isaiah Stewart, with Jalen Duren. We've got guys that can move their feet and be on that perimeter. Maybe not, guarding guards, but on a switch, on a pick and roll, they can do that.
Hold your own. Just hold your own, because you're not going to win all the battles. You're not. And I saw people earlier in our YouTube chat thread talking about it where D-Mac, they discussed the fact that nobody, and I get tired of this argument, right, where they say nobody in the NBA can play defense. And JJ Redick talked about that when he was on television a couple months ago, and he's like, and this is always my thing, and I've told you this 100 times, Spence 100 times, like in James Harden's prime, you're not stopping him because nobody in the world is.
No, exactly. And the rules, right? You got to look at the way in every sport, but the way that the rules have evolved. What did we say last week? You say we need guys that can make buckets. We need guys that can be. So it's an offensive league, but to disrupt, what do we see? Even like the Golden State Warriors, stuff like this, you got to be able to play defense and have guys that can disrupt and shut down at different points, right? Because how many times is it just me? Or did you see more 15 to 20 point deficits overcome in the playoff?
Because, and you know why that is? Because of the matchups that were out there on the floor. As soon as guys came in the game, came out of the game, and everything instantly changed. So this is a matchup-driven thing.
So to Spencer's point about the guys with the Noels that we've added, the Beef Stewart, you got to have that second unit guys that can disrupt as much. Right, you need those guys off the bench that can disrupt the flow, so a different team can't go on those runs that they do when they're just like, well, wait till he gets off the floor, right? That's a lot of times what you see. So that's where the balance is that you're not going to shut anybody specifically down. Like, right, James Harden or whatever, if you hold them to this, you've won. And it's usually like 20.
It's an efficiency thing.
It's an efficiency thing, right? That's what the games come to. The sabermetrics in baseball, all these.
It's like profit margin in business. Like that's what it is.
And that's where the game has changed.
Yeah, if you got to sell 100 units to make your profit versus you have to sell 15, you want to force them to have to sell 100 units.
It's the same thing as in hockey. Brendan Shanahan said it about your shooting percentage. Your career shooting percentage doesn't really change. So it's all about the amount of shots. Doesn't matter where you get them from. Just get quantity. Quantity, then you'll score.
Right,
so.
and that's what it always comes back to. Real quick here, Mark Walston says, didn't know about Garza being cut. He's energy, 6 solid fouls with rebounding and hustle. But Mark, it comes down to this. If you're not good enough, man, you don't have a place.
Yeah, and we have centers now. Like last year, we didn't have centers, so it was we need a guy out there that can eat up space and have foul. We have athletic 7-footers now, so like we don't need a guy to just be 6 fouls and hustle.
Right, it's not. You need players, man.
Yes,
you need. The hustle thing is cute and it's a great story and everyone gets behind it, but it's a talent-driven league, and you got to have talent. You got to have the horses to win. Troy Weaver, man, he don't deke around.
No, he does not.
If there's a deficiency, he's going to get it handled.
Well, here's the one thing, too, is we mostly talk about the starting 5 guys, but it's brought up apparent here is that, you know what, it's solidifying your bench, too. Having that 6, 7, 8 guy come off the bench that isn't a deficit to let 10, 20-point runs go against you, right? So that's there's different levels, and sometimes we don't think about all those levels.
No, and again, going back to it, it's a matchup driven league. Tammy Chin didn't notice the Hulk Hogan v. Andre shirt. That's right, WrestleMania 3 shirt, maybe.
That's dope.
That's
of course, Heel Neal wear a WWE shirt on an AEW day.
Yeah.
That's just Heel Neal. He's starting already, guys. He's starting already.
I won't be with the credence that are down there, though. I will be up in the suite. I will be lording over everybody because that's how I operate. Hey. But I'll also be working out at Planet Fitness. You guys know that. We're live from the Planet Fitness Studios. It's the home of the judgment-free zone. Not the Planet Fitness Studios, the Planet Fitness gyms. Those are the home of the judgment-free zone. D-Mac judges me every single day here in the Planet Fitness Studios. But that's different.
That's different.
You can work on a judgment-free zone, non-intimidating. And membership starts at just $10 per month for access to your home club, all the way up to the black card option, $24.99 per month. Yes, less than $1 per day. Get you use of all the amenities, the unlimited tanning, the hydro massage chairs, total body enhancement, and I think most importantly, gives you access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. I'm here at the one on Maple Road in Troy. My guy Matt over there, they run a great shop over there. Love working out there at the Planet Fitness. Shout out to Matt and everybody at the crew. They have the show on the TV from time to time over there. Join in club today. You're going to pass a couple on the way home. Just pull in the parking lot and join there. Or if you're really motivated, join online, planetfitness.com. It is Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Where your fitness is essential.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Hey, Scott from Woodward Pet Show. Hey, we've been red hot lately. You guys got to make sure you're tuning in and checking us out. And plus, today's Wednesday. Our girl Kelly's going to be on. She's predicted the last 2 PGA Tour winners in a row. So, hey, make sure you're checking that out. You also got to make sure you check out oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But, hey, let's get back to that winner. We got to stay hot. We're looking for the Angels today. Shohei's on the mound. Kopech for the White Sox. Velocity's down a little bit. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Guys, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done right. You have a bog project coming up? Well, Alta Rents has you covered, so call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Give them a call, tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Spencer Raxter here in the building. We got Sam Flannel as well, and we got all of you, and happy to have you along with us here today. Francis Garcia says this, and I got this from a couple people on social media, so just for those that maybe are wondering it, he says, I don't understand the trade. What did the Knicks get in return for those players? And
Nothing.
Francis, they got cap space. So they can go sign Brunson to a $100 million contract. So that's what the Knicks got, because both the players the Pistons got, their contracts, they have club options for the following year. But essentially think of it as this. They have 1 year left on their contracts. We have the cap space. So we will take their players, and then they will give us draft picks to take the players. Because we weren't going to use all the cap space anyway yet. So that's why we do it. And Francis, the beauty of this move is you do it, you get those couple draft picks from the Knicks, you get those contracts. So teams now, when the trade deadline rolls up this year, teams that want to clear cap space just the same way the Knicks just did to try to make a run at free agents, those expiring contracts become very, very valuable in the trade market at the trade deadline. So he's getting 2 returns. The story isn't told as far as this trade yet for the Pistons with Troy Weaver. It's very similar to the Jeremy Grant thing, where we kind of flipped out and said, what's he doing? You should have at least got a lottery
really
pick, and then boom, they did.
It was sort of like, wow, is that just the return, or where?
And the answer was no.
Sense. The answer was no. So really in the NBA around free agent time, trade time, draft time, it could be 2-3 part series. Right? You have to play it out. So we'll let you know where the reciprocation. So would you say that depending on what they do with these guys, with Nerlens, Noel, and moving forward, like as far as if they trade them down the road, they use them, for draft. Again, for draft capital, it's just another pawn in their piece, right? You don't look at these guys as...
Well, it can be the star thing. See, this is... I don't think people fully grasp this. If there becomes a disgruntled star or a star somewhere like Spence's theory that he talked about before, like a Donovan Mitchell type thing, where Utah's like, look, we tried, we didn't get there. It's time to break it apart. And now you have.
So we're waiting and hovering too. We're just sort of sitting, doing a flight path, just cruising around.
We're circling the airport right now.
Drama. Wow.
Waiting for clearance to land.
Where we want to land. Yeah. And then that's the thing. You don't have to. In the past, we've had to land where they've told us to.
No.
Now we don't. We can go, no thanks, we're going to keep moving on.
Salt Lake City, this is Weaver 1 requesting permission to land and initiate these discussions. Do we have clearance? Like that, those are the things. Those are the things that they can do.
So to be in the conversation.
You're in the conversation. You're in the conversation. It's brilliance, man. It is. And, Stevie Y, and here's the deal, too. Like, we had this discussion before about who's the quote-unquote better GM or whatever. Stevie Y was doing this very overtly. I mean, the moves were overt, and hockey's a little bit different, I guess, in that respect. But he was doing it fairly overtly. I mean, there was a little cover to, like, the Nick Leddy type things where you take him on and then you can flip him.
If you don't peel it back and open it up, you don't see it. Right? He doesn't throw it in your face and go, oh, wow, this is what's happening. It's sort of, oh, I see. Because you're the one who brought me a parent to that, is that he signs these guys, and then when he trades, this is what he paid, and this is what he got. And when his return is at the minimum equal, right, to benefit, what does that tell you? So, but here's the thing, too, Neal. Steve Yzerman's been doing it a lot longer than Troy Weaver and Brad Holmes have been doing it. Right? Because he did it. So he is stoic in the way he knows how to do it. He's taken in his playing days. He's taken in what he's learned being part of the Red Wing upper management before going to Tampa Bay. He's learned what he has there, and he puts it in his recipe. And now it's pretty much he knows what he's serving.
He's making checker moves.
He knows
what I'm saying?
But
he's never moving the back row.
He's a chess guy. Checkers or chess, whatever you want. But he has his game, right? When you say we're Brad Holmes and we're Troy Weaver, yes, they're still building it, but they're just on the beginning journey, right? The beginning journey. So it's cool to see. And then when I look into what you're saying, right? Oh, Troy Weaver seems to be doing it sort of the Steve Yzerman way, even though it's different sports. But to me, it's like you're comparing somebody who I consider the greatest with somebody else. Yeah. Oh, he must be doing something right. And what is he doing? He's doing it the basketball way, but along the same lines as draft capital.
And the timing's weird, too. I always thought the timing was weird of the draft, how the draft is right before free agency. And if you look at it, too, from this perspective, this was all one Knicks deal.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But that part had to be completed on draft night because the draft was that night. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it's the timing with the Summer League that they want to get the Summer League in there because it is amazing how wildly popular Summer League has become.
Yeah.
Because they're selling hopium in the streets of Vegas.
Yes. And it's going to be the Pistons and it's going to be the Rockets in the Summer League championship game. And it's going to be exciting. I don't know if Killian's going to go to the Summer League. I don't know if Cade's going to be in the Summer League. But even if they don't, Ivy's going to be there. Duran's going to be there. The guy we drafted last year, I can't even remember his name, the Bosnian guy or Serbian guy, he's going to be there. I was watching his tape yesterday. He looks damn good. I'm excited. I'm excited for this team. And the Summer League, it's a preview of what these guys hopefully will look like in them.
Yeah, I wish that they would put the draft, either accelerate free agency or push the draft back, one of the two. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, but it does, just working in this field, it does seem to create confusion with the fan base. Like this Knicks trade, this was all one.
Yeah,
the draft night to tonight.
Right, when the conversation started,
this deal was done.
We're going to do this. This is this is why you say in the NBA, there's part 2, part 3,
right?
Whatever. When does it play out? This one, you're using that as an example. So the conversation was had, and it allowed Troy to fuel up the jet and decide where he wants to land. I think it's great, especially when you have a younger a younger team and you're looking to build, that the NBA and Adam Silver, I think they did it right. Bringing it to Vegas, you're going to get everybody that wants to go. But for teams like ourselves that have the younger guys, where you get just the look of seeing the guys on the court.
It's a brilliant move by the NBA because in your quote unquote dead markets, right? Like even Sacramento fam will lock in to the summer league, and in Detroit and Houston and everything. You know, the teams that didn't win.
Listen, I'll lock into the summer league way before I'll lock into the All-Star game.
I have a friend that is a summer league junkie.
Because junkie. Is it not, and I'm not the bad, but I'm thinking if you're a basketball head, it's sort of like, a lot of times it's like the World Juniors.
That's a great comp.
Right,
That's a great comp.
Where you can see, oh my gosh, this kid that you haven't seen come out, and what is this? And you can get the eyeball test if you want it to be so, and you can see, oh, I see the potential. Or you see something in somebody else, maybe they don't see in their guy. So when it comes up, I just think that where the Detroit Pistons are at, because if you're an older team, yeah, I get it, you need the youth, but you're not committed as much because you're more worried about winning championships. We're not worried about championships now. We're worried about building the foundation. So I think this is going to be awesome.
Truth over everything says with the addition of Darren and Noel, where does that leave Stewart and Garza? And Garza got released, so that's the answer to that question. And for Stewart, sink or swim, man. Like they're as Spencer said earlier, there were no centers. It was Isaiah Stewart by default. So now there's some people in that room, and as Drake would say, we gonna see with Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, I mean that's what it is, and that's the nature of the beast. You got options. That's what it boils down to.
That's all you want when it comes down to because here's the thing, Lions, okay, options building, Wings, Pistons, options building, Tigers. Again, go ahead now.
Yeah,
no options, no options, nothing in the cupboard.
Stop, D-Mac. Stop.
I know we did it yesterday, but
here's. Gypsy Vodka has some options for you, though. They have the classic Gypsy Vodka. You know about that. But don't forget, the Mulligan is taking summer by storm. The Mulligan, of course, made with Gypsy Vodka. If you're out on the golf course or hanging out in the backyard, the Mulligan is calling your name. And, guys, it'll get the job done. 8%. They're 8%. So don't just stumble your way into this, all right? Don't just line the cooler up with them and get going. Line yourself up. Make sure everything's in a row and you're ready to go because the Mulligan, it is the official drink of summer, at least in my mind. You can get it at your local golf course or pull up on Total Wine. Score the Mulligan right there. The Mulligan, made with Gypsy Vodka, a Michigan you know we're about the Michigan UFC fighters, the Michigan companies that are producing vodka, all that stuff. That's what we're about here at Woodward Sports. Ask for it by name, Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live. All right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it. You've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play where you can stay there open until close and have a great time. They also have private lane reservation, 10 to 12 people, $120. You get your own lane. You can bring in any type of food you want. They don't care. If you get thirsty, they have a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You put in $2, pops you out a good beer. here. No hassle, no fuss needed. Know what you want to make a decision. They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down, check them out in Hamtramck at the Fulling Warehouse, or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, as well. Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here in the building. Happy to have you all with us today as we move on to the second hour of the show. People professing their love for the Summer League, and everybody's into it. They are all the way into it, and it certainly is something. And this one here is a great. This comes from Chuck. And Spencer, I'll send this one to you. Remember last December when Trey Lyles was a starting center? Remember that?
Yeah, I remember it. I'll never forget that. You know, it's literally what it is. We literally didn't have a center on the roster last year. And now we've got two of them. Now we've got at least two of them that can go out there and make an impact defensively and athletically, catching lobs and oops.
And a project too.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah. No. Absolutely, it is. I tell you what, something else that's exciting, and again, we'll defer to Spencer, our resident Michigan State insider. Mel Tucker on the recruiting trail. Tuck coming, no question about that. He is getting the job done as far as Michigan State is concerned. And it's funny to me because a four-star edge is rolling out, or possibly could be rolling out, and you see that Michigan State, just from a Michigan State fan perspective, you see that Michigan State logo out there with Oklahoma.
That's it.
And Alabama. And look, Neil Rubin took a lot of heat from the Inside the Locker Room show here on Woodward Sports and said, that Michigan State and Michigan can't swim in those waters with Georgia. And I got hammered on social media like I didn't know. They're like, who do you think recruited all those guys for Georgia? Like I didn't know who it was. It's just when it comes down to finishing the product and where you're going to go to school. That was the point of my take. But even the most ardent Michigan State hater, the biggest Michigan slap out there, Spencer, you're the Michigan State guy, so I'll go to Sam Flannel. Sam.
No, but can I just start before anything else? When you show that graphic about top three,
it hits pretty hard, doesn't it?
Of it, is it not supposed to be the maize and blue?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be the maize and blue. But you know what? You know what Tuck coming is? Tuck's coming is I don't care what you think I'm supposed to be or not. This is who I am. This is what I'm building. And if he's bringing in, what is he doing? He's building a program and a culture that obviously, the kids are buying into. And I don't know the logistics of the NIL and whatever else, but I don't hear as much about it. But you're in the middle, Michigan State. You should be proud of that with everything else. So what do I see? What does this tell me? Is that when Matt Ishba and United Wholesale made that commitment to the coach and the program, we don't need to hear about what needs to be done. They're doing it. Whatever it is, they're doing it. How do I know? Top 3 recruiting class. So whatever he's doing, continue to do it. And that's more damaging. And because, Neal, am I wrong not to see when I look at that graphic that it should be the maize and blue in the middle?
No, but and I wanted to get Sam Flannel's take on it. And look, I'm not saying it's outperforming Harbaugh or I'm not saying all that. Should Michigan be scared 2-4-8? No, I'm not doing that because I believe the answer to some degree is yes. But I go to you.
But Michigan State's doing everything. It shows me Michigan State's doing everything in their power. And what's
you can't
Michigan
deny it.
doing?
I'm setting Sam Flannel up. I'm setting Sam Flannel up here.
Good, get him. He deserves it.
I'm setting you up right now, Sam
Suicide
Flannel.
pass through the middle. Here comes D-Mac.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam Flannel. I'm not saying as a Michigan fan, are you scared? I'm not saying that.
Should be.
Do you respect what they're doing?
I still burn.
It's already been a long
He
decade.
just told us it was gonna be fugly. He just said it, and it started. This is the beginning of, and for Sam to say with new information, because I agree with you as far as talent-wise, and it's usually that way if you go down the rosters. Michigan gets more of the recruits are more talented, but Michigan State, when it comes down to it, now if you put the talent level up there with the top recruits, wow. I mean,
it's and what he's building, it's not going to be next year, but this 2023 and the 2024 recruiting classes are littered with 4 stars. It feels like every day I open my Instagram or open my Twitter and it's the MSU, scouting zone, all these different fan accounts I follow that are saying we landed another guy, this other guy performs, and I see Tuck sitting on the field in a Ferrari with a 4-star athlete, and I'm just like so happy because this is the opposite of what D'Antonio did. D'Antonio was about getting these guys nobody wanted,
Coaching
getting these 2-3-star guys, coaching them up, it doesn't work anymore. It was crazy.
No, there's
that
a talent
so
line.
long for him.
Yeah, there's a talent line that there's a fine line that you have to be within to do it. And look,
somebody always told whatever, like Michigan State, it's almost like you're only allowed to get that. So
Yes.
don't even go out and try to get that. Mel Tucker comes in and goes, "Oh, okay,
I'm gonna go." Get it.
It's like I get told when I get told, and certain things we do it this way, and then I got to say, well, when my name's on the marquee, we do it my way, right? That's pretty much that's what
Right.
Mel Tucker's doing coming in, because Spencer, you're bringing up a huge thing. You're seeing the green and white talked about everywhere because they're out there making splashes, and they're building. And like you said, it's not about making the big this year. It's about building for the few years. And you guys know that because I hear that through the whole fan base.
Mm-hmm.
They know what's happening. So the Michigan State coach and with the fan base in the school, everybody seems to be on the same page. I don't find that in Michigan.
And it's not only the recruiting, it's obviously the wizardry he works in the transfer portal. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say, Kenneth Walker was a shoo-in. Everybody knew that was going to happen. There was a little bit of luck. He definitely overperformed we knew he was going to be good from what he did at Wake Forest. We didn't know he was going to be best running back in the nation good. But that's the kind of thing, he identified that talent. Mel Tucker identified that talent, said this kid can be special. I'm going to bring him here. And that's what he's doing now. And I'm so happy.
Easy, guy. Easy.
Mel
Tucker,
Would you just confirm for the people in the chat that are asking, you do not have a Mel Tucker poster on the ceiling of your room? It's on your bathroom door.
It is. It's on the bathroom door
for a
sure,
high five every morning.
Right
in and
next to
out.
Troy Weaver. I just got him sitting side by side. Brad Holmes is in the shower. It's awesome.
You got it all covered.
Yeah.
They're saying your microphone was muted, Sam Flannel.
Yeah. How about now? Sound good? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there have been a ton of technical difficulties in the booth in the first hour. We got those all under control.
So to back it up, I'm not saying do you fear them or anything like that. Spencer said you should.
You should.
But you have to respect what they're doing over there.
Well, first of all, even with the 2020 and 2021 season where Michigan clearly had the more talented teams and Michigan State just waxed us, and it still burns my heart to this day that both of those games happened, and Spencer, you deserve to laugh, you deserve the spoils, you're the victor. And now with Michigan State looking like they're really a big player in NIL, up on top of those recruiting lists, and maybe even can get talent that is comparable or even better than Michigan, that is very scary as a Michigan fan. And it's looking like it could be some long, lean years, but
you got to let the meat slap meat. You got to let the meat slap meat.
And but still, I still believe that Michigan going forward is going to be good. They're still going to compete with Michigan State. But the fact that Michigan State is a player and I can't count on 7 out of 10 wins for Michigan when they play Michigan State really sucks. And yes, I'm scared, and I respect the hell out of Mel Tucker. How do you not, as Fish says?
Check the resume.
How can you not?
Check the resume.
Yep.
Like that's what it is. And it's one thing, right? And people are saying, well, Neal, you're backtracking everything like that. It's one thing to get to that level. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at what's going on around the country, and you look at recruits like Jaden Rashada, that 4-star dual threat, maybe the best dual threat quarterback in the nation, and they're talking about turning down $8 million in nil money to take 11 from Miami to go to the U. And then you look at, as we talked about earlier, Jordan Addison will make more at USC than Jamison Williams will make for the Detroit Lions this year.
They've got 2 multi-million-dollar receivers at USC.
And see, those are the waters that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I understood.
That's the last hurdle for Michigan State to, in my mind, if you're going to be a power, that's the last hurdle to when you get in the waters for those quarterbacks.
Yes.
And it comes down to $10 million deals or $8 million deals. Because the quarterback's a straw that stirs a drink. And look, certainly, Michigan State has done it without that. They've beaten Michigan regularly, consecutively, multiply, without that.
Yeah, and that's, as Michigan State fans, we know that's, we're going to have to do more with less. And even, as you were saying it, I agreed with you to where we'll never be bringing in, 10 five-star recruits in a single season like Georgia and Alabama do every year. We're not going to be pumping out, 12 first-round draft picks in a single season like Georgia and Alabama do. But this is a good start. Once we start turning these 4 stars into 5 stars, once we start dropping millions of dollars on guys that we know that we can bring in and play, it's only up from here, and this is the start. We're getting these 4 stars consistently now, which is beautiful, and the talent level is just going to be so vastly different from what it was to what it is going to be that I'm just so excited.
We need a leash for Spencer.
Really, it's all good. I'm letting him out. He's deserved a long time. He's been waiting.
Look at put your camera on right now.
We're gonna let him run the yard.
Look at that face.
We're gonna let him run the yard.
We got Troy Weaver. We got Mel Tucker. We got Steve.
Wouldn't you be as far as as far as the college programs, not just in the state or whatever?
But if I were a state fan, when we had these discussions, as far as Michigan goes, I'd be like, look.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even. It wouldn't even register with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Michigan State talk.
It's getting there.
I'd be like, what do you guys mean? Like getting on the map? What happens when we play those guys?
Yeah.
Like look at the almost going on decade and a half, pushing 2 decades now with what they've been able to do to Michigan. I know Michigan fans, you bury that deep down inside. And like Coquet here on the YouTube chat thread, getting into the college football playoff greater than being in the running for a high school kid. But you know how I'm going to go to that.
Yeah.
Like, were you really in it? Because at the end of the first quarter, you weren't in it anymore.
We were in it too. Before this.
Technically.
Yeah, technically we were in it too.
Yeah.
We got schwacked by Alabama, and that's Tuck doesn't even have his guys yet. These teams that he's been putting up were D'Antonio, castaways and castaways from other teams that he's bringing in, and now he's gonna start getting his guys. When he's got a team of 3-year dudes that are his guys, look out. It's gonna be different.
And guys that want to be here. What do you notice too? A lot of times, you mentioned seeing photos of Tuck with expensive cars with 4-star recruits and stuff like this. All these recruits, and you see the way that he's used social media. You mentioned it. They want to be here.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, it's funny the whole Michigan angle to this. They've been doing it for a decade plus.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for a decade plus to you. That's not what I think. And I'm neutral. I'm not involved with either. I just go by what happens.
And Michigan has been getting these recruits.
Right.
And we have not. And now we are. Now the playing field is level recruiting-wise.
I think Flannel was very, apparent to that. If you guys you're beating us and we get the better talent, if you start getting the talent up, what's that mean for us? So hats off to you for noticing that and not being like a lot of Michigan fans that would like to bury that. So.
And if you're Michigan, you used your golden goose to where you lost to Michigan State in a season and still snuck your way in.
Yeah.
You used that golden goose. The numbers say that's not a way to get in going forward. Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast is called This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl and other addictions, quite frankly, are plaguing our communities right now. If you're struggling, if you know somebody else who's struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com. Sports Marketing Agency, they are here to help.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hi, my Diamonds, it's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Neal Ruhl here for oddstrader.com, the number one site for all of your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and most importantly, guys, the best price available on every game from multiple sports books. Why would you not get the best price on a game you want to bet? Like, why? Seems pretty stupid to me.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid. Like, yeah. Let's go. Why? Why would you not get the best price on a game you're going to bet? Oddstrader.com, people. Right now, it's your best bet. I just don't understand why you wouldn't get the best price. Why would you lay 175 when 160's out there?
I know. I get it. I don't know. I don't get it. Oddstrader.com. Get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or be square.
The away fan. I watched the E60 doc last night. D-Mac, you were tremendous. Didn't know you were Draper's best man. Was he yours for your wedding as well?
No, I got married too early. I got married before, actually, my first year. So I think Drapes got married in 96, 95 or 6. So
we'll do the Ask D-Mac, by the way, coming up the last 10 minutes of the show. Been a good fun today. Been a good show today. A lot of fun. It's been moving very, very quickly.
Well,
Tough
I think
to keep up.
What we're talking about is a lot of positives and then just sort of like the perspective. And when you're looking at, we're talking about competency. So you talk about competency in the GM, the Pistons, and what he's doing. You know, the competency there. You're talking about just about Mel Tucker and what he's doing. And I mean, I don't know. Am I making too big of a deal of it? But when you're up there and recruiting top 3 with Alabama and Oklahoma, isn't that telling you something across the, I like to hover from 30,000 feet, but that means that people are taking notice. Good for the Sparties, good for Spence.
Yeah. Dave Schultz says there may need to be a cleanup in the TD booth over there. There may be. You know, we might have to get a lot of Clorox wipes and bleach, I think, over there because Spence, that look on his face. We need a screenshot of that. Just find you somebody that loves you the way Spencer just loves life right now.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We need that.
And he's got heavyweights tonight. Oh, my God.
That's right.
Kid.
Woodward heavyweights back 5 to 7 tonight.
Pace yourself.
Yeah, have a day, Spencer. Have a day. This guy is certainly out of control, man. Spencer, we talk about this. Spencer comes up with these little scenarios, little fun stuff that you do in the summer in the sports media world. And I've got to be honest with you guys. I want to do this cold. I didn't look at it. I didn't click on it. Anything like that. But he asked the question, pick one of these running backs in their prime. Who would you take? All right, my first look at it right now. LaDainian Tomlinson, no. Emmitt Smith, no. Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. Oh, that's easy. That's Barry all day, every day. And here's the deal, and I get in trouble with this a lot. I get in trouble with this a lot. LaDainian Tomlinson, to me, is the Tim Tebow at Florida of running backs of the NFL. You got a 1-yard touchdown, LaDainian Tomlinson's here for it. The percentage of his touchdown runs that were from 1 yard out have to be 85%. I'm kidding, obviously. He was the king of the 1-yard touchdown run. That's not a debate to me. I know there's a lot of Walter Payton love out there, but it's Barry, and you call me compromised or whatever. To this day, Barry Sanders is one of the 3 most exciting players that I've ever watched in my life in any sport.
Well, he's a video game. I mean, he's a video game character, with a joystick, the way he can move, but biased or not, you'd have to go with Barry if you're looking for those. LT caught some out of the backfield and stuff, but those guys were pretty much legitimate, more running backs. To just run it up the guts, stuff or on the outside and stuff like this, the handoff. But what do you say? You can't really go wrong with any one of them.
Except for Emmett Smith in that group.
In that group, you don't like Emmett?
Emmett Smith's a distant fourth in that group.
Well, that's so you're part of his whole greatness was the offensive line and stuff like that.
No, he was good. I mean, he's one of the best.
But you say
not in that group.
Okay, well, then we know how Neal feels about Emmitt Smith.
Sorry.
I agree with you with Barry.
Sorry about it.
What do you say, Sammy Flannel?
I'm going to go with Walter Payton. I believe we've had this discussion before. And for the record, I think Walter Payton and Barry is very, very close to the two greatest running backs of all time. I just like the versatility with Walter Payton a little bit better, and the fact that he did it with bad quarterbacks, even though you could say Barry did the same, but some of those quarterbacks and those offenses, it was Walter Payton or bust. He's an MVP. He's the second leading rusher of all time. He's a phenomenal receiver. The most complete back. He can block. He even, as I've said before, threw 8 touchdown passes. Say what about that what you want.
Sam, look, man, I like you. You know that. We're friends.
Yes.
We are friends.
Hey, Sam, I tolerate
Get the
you, right?
F out of here with this Walter Payton's 8 touchdown. Can we please stop with the Walter Payton 8? Yeah, please. Prison rules.
Get in there and shut the door.
Yeah.
Shut the door.
Spencer, please shank this man. And look, I love I love your conviction, Sam Flannel. I do, and I have a lot of respect for you because you do hold true to him. You're not up here BSing. You honestly believe what you're saying, and I have a lot of respect for that. But please shut up about Walter Payton's 8 touchdown passes. Please stop with that. Come on. That has no impact on him as a running back. Stop with that.
You know what? I will stop with that. Honest, but still, 8 is nothing to sneeze at, and the fact that he was playing with such bad quarterbacks, I bet on some of those teams he actually could have been the best quarterback on that team, but I digress. He was, how many 1,000-yard seasons he had? He was phenomenal. He was the whole offense, because the Bears were a miserable franchise before the mid-'80s when they finally got good, and even when they were good, he was their offense. They had Jim McMahon. He was just a game manager. And I get it. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for Barry. Barry Sanders is the most shifty runner probably in all of football history, and he was obviously phenomenal, and his per-game rushing is actually better. To me, it's 1 and 2. It's like asking me to choose between children. I'll give Walter Payton the slight edge because he's bigger. I think he's better between the tackles. And he did so much more with less, and he's so complete.
He's better between the tackles. The thing is Barry didn't run between the tackles, whatever like that, to juke step inside. Sam, you know what? This is disheartening, right? Is that you're a Detroit guy, and if they're that close, 1 and 2, you go with the Chicago guy. I don't understand it.
That is tough.
But it is your opinion. With this new information, I am not going to change my opinion. It'll still be Barry. I don't know about you, Neal, but respectfully disagree.
I appreciate that. I feel like most...
It's not your worst take ever.
YouTube chat poll. Was this Sam Flannel's worst take ever?
No.
Worst Sam... Yeah,
100% no.
Don't even waste the energy.
Yeah,
don't even waste the energy to type that out. Yeah.
So you got that going for you. I mean, you can make the case. I mean, again, there's arguments either way.
Yeah.
You'd have a pretty good team if you had either one of them.
But I am of the camp though that Barry Sanders' offensive line gets crapped on badly because Lomas Brown was great.
Jerry Ball.
Well, I'm talking about the offensive line. Like, Lomas Brown was great. Kevin Glover was great.
Yeah, right.
Those guys were great. And I would say if Mike Utley doesn't get paralyzed and Eric Andelsek doesn't get run over by a truck in his front yard, they would have had the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. Eric Andelsek was a beast.
Arguably, yeah. The size of him, right? And all those guys, and that is true. You can't do it all by yourself. And I guess it goes to, like Sam said, Walter's bigger, it's what do you prefer? What kind of vehicle, what kind of luxury sports vehicle do you like? Are you a Ferrari guy or a Corvette guy? Can't go wrong.
You know my answer to that. Andrew says, Sam, really, this one has written you off in my book.
It's not that. It's honestly my biggest fault, I think, being on this show is I cannot let the fact that I'm in Detroit on a Detroit sports show, make me unobjective. I just got to call it how I see it. And I think some people don't want to know how I see it, but too bad.
They want to know how you see it, but then adamantly, see why you're wrong.
Coquet wants to ask here, Sam Flannel, do you have a Pog collection?
A Pog collection? What's a Pog collection?
Okay, but you know what? Good question. That probably dated him, but I would think that maybe Sam could have a Pog. It's like, it's between this generation, between the stamp collecting generation and whatever they do now. They're like Pogs are like, what do you say? Bigger size bottle caps or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
collectible things.
Well, if I don't know,
now they got Funkos.
They do,
and bobbleheads. But you know what? Even the bobblehead, they need a haircut. So you know where you go when you need a haircut. Obviously, we broadcast from Lady Jane's global headquarters, 168 Lady Jane's throughout this great country. All the same, open 10 to 8. Walk in, sign, and sit down before you know it. Bing, bang, boom. The King's treatment. So get to a Lady Jane's anywhere near you. Tell them Big D Energy sent you. Why? Because it's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. We got Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here in the building as well. Sam Flannel, always entertaining. He's on brand, man. He's just on brand all the time.
Yes, and he's true to Sam Flannel. Sometimes he's got a bad take, and sometimes he's got a worse one. But it's okay. He's ours.
He is ours. There's no question. Another little fun summer one I wanted to touch on. And I forget actually the context of this. I think it was backup quarterback Chase Daniels. I think is going to eclipse the $40 million mark in career earnings. I think that's what it was. Chase Daniels surpassed $41 million in earnings this year, which is number 62 all-time in NFL quarterback earnings. He started 5 games total in his career and averaged 6.5 yards per attempt. That comes to us courtesy of a Warren Sharp by way of Corey Woods on Twitter, our Lions insider. Does he have, or has he had, the greatest job in sports? What's the greatest job in sports, D-Mac?
Yeah, I don't know if that is, because there's a lot of things that go behind at the time that you have to put in. I think from the surface, you don't see all the study work. All you have to do, you sort of, be in the backup of the third string. If that's what you want to do, some people that play, they wouldn't be fulfilled even though the money's there. You always bring up a point. You're all about the bag till it's not about the bag.
So I'm not about the bag.
Right? So I'm sure at this point in his career where, he's grateful to have the money and to look back, but it's like anybody else. If he's still playing, he wants to play. But, backup quarterback or third-string quarterback, if you're making, $1 million a year. I mean, it's less stressful, but I don't know if it goes to the competitor in you. Right? I always said best job in sports would be finished at 20th on the money list in the PGA or the Live. Well, now it would be the Live where all the money is. But just like, maybe you win once every few years.
Yeah, but that pressure though.
But you don't have the pressure.
You said 20. Okay,
because
yeah.
you're 20, so you have your sponsorships, you have everything else, and you're set because you have your tournaments and whatever like that. So you just can pretty much, do what you want to do.
So be Billy Horschel.
Well, there it is,
Yeah.
and he won again this year. Right,
Yeah.
has always been in the heat, but that if you like the outdoors, but I think it goes to this, Neal, where we look at it on the surface, but there's more to it. But at the end of the day, not a bad gig.
Right.
I put that on there as not a bad gig.
Francis says best job on the planet is 20-plus year career as the number 3 backup quarterback.
No, I
You're
know
on
the best job on the planet. It's the friggin' commissioner of the Sun Bowl. And all those commissioners of all those bowl games and stuff like
Those
that.
are.
No, right, you nailed it.
The commissioner of the Sugar Bowl makes over $600,000 a year to run the Sugar Bowl.
But what does he do? And the Sugar Bowl runs itself.
That
but what
has
does
the
he make
same hotels in New Orleans every year, that's played in the same stadium every year, that's tied into the same teams every year. How hard is that job?
That's what I'm saying. So
That's a great call, man. I didn't even thought about that.
But that's not an athlete. So as an athlete, to not get hurt or have to, to be and here's the one thing too, right? If you do it right, as that one guy that plays 5 games in your whole career, you play a good one, or you come in at the right time as the backup and get.
You do a Matt Flynn and you play the Lions one time, and boom, you got a $40 million contract.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. What would you do?
I've always said that I wouldn't mind, because I really do love doing play-by-play. Like, I love it. You show up for work every single. I got to be pushing 1,000 games in my career right now, and every single game has been different. You played hundreds of games in the NHL.
Yeah.
Was any game ever the same?
They had similarities.
But no game was always the same. And
because and just to the quick point is that sometimes you're going out and expecting it's going to be like real intense and it's sort of a snoozer, but you always have to be prepared because, especially in the NHL, it can escalate quickly.
Right. I mean, for me, just because I like doing the job so much, it would be to get that Joe Buck or Mike Tirico contract, where you're getting the $40 million over 6 years. And then if you want to keep doing it, you keep doing it. And if you don't, then you don't. And, and everything's handled for you, right? Like I have these charts, these spot charts that I have to do. And they're a lot of work, man. Once you get them set up, it's easy. Like with the college basketball season during conference play. Once you go through conference play once, then it's easy. You just update the numbers.
But still, there's always the setting it up.
Setting it up is a big pain.
Well,
but when you're at that level, someone's doing it for you. And
that's the whole thing, guys. As you level up, it gets easier,
right?
Because you're availed more things and more people. Like it's easy playing in NHL. They bust you everywhere. They fly you everywhere. They feed you. Whatever. You just got to play. It's getting there. That's hard.
Yeah, and that's a thing of it too. Like when I travel with teams, even the Pistons, certainly with Oakland or whatever, I just kind of show up and sit down on my seat in the bus, and then kind of just mentally punch out or look at video or do whatever I got to do, and then boom, you're at the hotel in whatever city you're going, in New York City or wherever, LA, wherever you're going to. You kind of come back to and you're there. Like you don't drive anywhere. You don't do anything. Everything's handled for you, So that is the cool part of it. But that would be me. I would get the Joe Buck, Mike Tirico contract. And then after 6 years, I would reevaluate whether I want to continue doing it. I probably would.
Because the bag's already there.
The bag's already there, but I would do what I want to do.
Absolutely.
And that's 100%. It, man.
How about you, Sam? I'd be interested to say, is there an easy sports job or one that's? I mean, obviously the one that comes to mind is somebody brought up Brock Osweiler, but if you're a top draft choice, in one of these leagues, and then you're a bust, I mean, you still get your initial signing bonus and contract and stuff like that. So that's getting there,
right?
Yeah, there's actually one person in particular whose career I think is interesting and I would want, and that's Chad Henne. our old friend at Michigan, because he actually achieved his dream of being a starting quarterback. He wasn't very good, but he also played for the Jaguars and Dolphins, so that didn't do him any help. But ever since then, he's really carved out a career as a very respected backup, and now he backs up Patrick Mahomes. And he also has a playoff moment. If you remember that game against Cleveland in the 2020 playoffs where Patrick Mahomes was out, and Chad Henne actually finished the game. It was Chad Henne on 3rd and 14 that ran for 13.5 yards, and then on 4th and 1 completed that pass to Tyreek Hill. He is always a legend in Kansas City. He's compensated very well as a backup, and he achieved his dream as a starting quarterback, and he got a shot. I don't think there's anything better than that.
One of the greatest design football plays I've ever seen in my life, too.
4th and 1?
Yeah, that was in how they got Tyreek Hill open. It was incredible. That was Andy Reid on display.
But I think that Flannel brings it up because there he had his moment, right? He executed that moment that we'll remember or whatever else, too, to draw it up like that, but he still had to execute it, and that's the pro. So that was it, Sammy. That was a great one. That was way better than your Walter Payton.
Mine is Matt Flynn by a landslide. That's my dream. Like you said, you torch the Lions once, get paid tens of millions of dollars, and then never play again. Like, come on. Like that's got to be the best one. Get the bag, get out of there. That's what I'm all about.
And move on. Brandon Katz says TV announcers are significantly overpaid. The ratings will be the same no matter who calls the game. They aren't worth $16 million per year.
That is incorrect. If you have watched any hockey on ESPN last year, that is an incorrect statement because I believe announcers can turn you
off, no doubt. And look, Brandon,
and the money is more from tell them about the advertisers, and it's about the commercials and all the stuff that the car dealers and this and that and this paying for them to have there.
Right. And you know what, Brandon, to a degree, you're right. I mean, I'll let you know a dirty little secret about that. I mean, like those guys at that level are significantly overpaid for what they do.
Yes.
But they do bring, the ratings wouldn't be the same. There would be some fall off, but it wouldn't be catastrophic fall off, in my opinion, of that. But you have to look at what goes on behind the scenes with that, Brandon. When Fox meets with advertisers and they want to meet Joe Buck. So Joe Buck's
it's all about brand, and why they're getting that much money at that is because of the brand they've built, and it's the NFL, and they're making 15 million, 20, whatever it is a year. It's because it's global money,
right?
So they're bringing in that globally, and that's what it is. Yes, to the point of the matter of fact, yes.
But it's not just calling the game. It's not in a vacuum. It's not just calling the game. The advertising executives with Ford, when they get to meet with Fox and Joe Buck's there, and Joe Buck says, hey, well, I'll be the one reading your ads. And trust me, I've done it at college. I've done it at the college level where I've met with advertisers and said, hey, I'm the one that's going to be reading your ads. If you want something changed, you call me directly. You text me directly. I'll fix it an hour before the game. They love that. The advertisers love that, man. That's just the way that works. Coquet says, I can see that happening for Neal. He's great at this. No BS. Coquet, I appreciate that, man, because he's critical of some of the stuff I say from time to time. But I appreciate that, my friend. Thanks for tapping in to Big D Energy. And you should tap into Syntron. Oh, by the way, Ask DMAC coming up next. We'll get those questions in. Summer Syntron is here, and it's available at your local Kroger. If you haven't tried it yet, next time you're out grocery shopping, 2 cans of Syntron, $4. Give it a spin. You'll never go back because Syntron is the new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Proud partners with Little Caesars Arena, where AEW will be tonight. The Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Red Wings, the Detroit Tigers, Detroit City FC. Yes, all proud partners with Syntron. Drink it. Live it with Syntron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Neal Ruhl here for Bedrock Detroit, and all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway is open in downtown Detroit. Enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. You got me at food trucks, man. That is the way to go. It's a fun, safe environment for everybody ages 1 to 100. If you're out on a date, if you're downtown getting ready to go over to the Tigers game, slide on over to the Monroe Street Midway, and you can go to deckedoutdetroit.com. Again, that's deckedoutdetroit.com for more information. Final segment of the show. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Coquet also says, if you never had the chill run up your spine when Keith Jackson would say, "Whoa, Nelly," you won't get it. Keith Jackson goated on the sticks. That's my guy. Best of all time, man. I love
100%.
Yeah, love Keith Jackson. I really like Brent Musburger because you knew he was betting on the games.
All those old Rose Bowl highlights, any way you slice them, gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
No, Keith Jackson was goated on the sticks. Chris says the GM of the Tigers is the best job in the world. You can absolutely suck and never be worried about losing your job. How did we all miss that one? That was a good one. It is time. It's time for Ask D-Mac. And Jack Harrington says, Ask D-Mac. You going to join Neal for the college football segments on here this fall? Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just make sure that he's taking his 17-5 record into the – I'm more concerned with the Mountain West and got to get my San Jose State jersey and all that different stuff. So, yes, we will deep dive into it. Neal will lead the way. I will follow along.
Yeah. The San Jose State people did send over T-shirts for D-Mac and I for the college football.
Rocking up. I love San Jose.
Yeah, if you don't know about Global Reach, man,
Original Joe's
and Big D Energy and Woodward Sports Network, the San Jose State people sent over shirts to wear
because they know that Mountain West that you are a huge Mountain. I'm just the mouthpiece to the Mountain West bets and whatever that, but you are the one that stays up till 2, 3 in the morning on a Saturday night, making sure that the people's bets are brought in. 17-5 record last year. We're going to keep doing it this year. San Jose State. Appreciate the guests. I'll be rocking the shirt out.
Rack says, D-Mac, who's your favorite college basketball announcer and why is it Neal Ruhl?
There you go. I'm all biased. Like to hear him. Yeah. Come on, Rock. You know me better than that. Am I going to sacrifice listening to Struggles and Ron Nemi called Deathmatch Wrestling to watch a college basketball game? Not really. So, Neal's my favorite in all sports broadcasting, but I'm biased.
Well, I've had you on, Neal. When you slid through the arena, we've been. I had you on at halftime.
Dude, I had a blast there.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely. Have a blast going there and absolutely listening to it or taking in the atmosphere and stuff. I'd rather be at a game live, you know what I mean, than having to listen. I guess it's the same sort of analogy as people that watch hockey that didn't grow up watching it and have a hard time in watching it on TV. I don't have a hard time watching basketball, but I guess the attention span is not there.
Yeah, and you know what? Last night, low key, I was going to bring this up. We were talking about the announcers. I flipped on the satellite radio app on my phone and listened to the Tigers-Giants game and listened to the San Francisco radio feed of the Tigers-Giants game and just sat there with the fire in the fireplace, had a gypsy, not going to lie.
Was it because of who was broadcasting the game or
no? I like to listen to the other team's feed when for job purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I like to know what the talk about is for them.
I'll give props to Alex Avila. Listening to him with
he's been good.
Double D, he's been really good.
Yeah, he's just got to drop the
mentality.
No, yeah, he's just got to drop the and that's a reps thing. He'll handle
absolutely.
that, and everything will be fine with it. I'm a big fan of him on the radio. Big fan of him, no question about it. Paul Johnson, D-Mac, ask D-Mac, is Sergey a serious contender for the Wings coach?
No.
Okay. The away fan, D-Mac, who has a breakout year next year, Zadina or Rasmussen?
I mean, I'll leave Zadina to Neal or whatever, but I think what you saw with Rasmussen and the size and coming into his own presence out front of the net, that's a big year for Michael Rasmussen, and I think that's something that we forget, being a former first-round pick. But I think he's starting to get into his size. Took a few years to figure it out, but this could be a big year. Well, it's going to have to be a big year for both of them because it's sort of like the put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Last year was sort of that for Zadina, but obviously if it's still here and Stevie likes him, but I would go Rasmussen on that question.
Zadina's having his Josh Parisian moment right now where, the fist landed and he's on the mat and he's either going to have to get up or not get up. Those are the two choices.
Can I answer this one?
Yeah, real. Is it the Aaron Tackett one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask D-Mac, and we got about 30 seconds.
Could you imagine?
If you could
we got to give Jim Ross the Lemieux fight night to break down. Oh my gosh,
if you could have Jim Ross,
slobber knocker, folks. Oh my God, if I could get him to break down just the fight, the turtle part, the March 26th fight, that would be unbelievable.
If you could have Jim Ross commentate any moment in your life, what would it be? There was no other answer than that. D-Mac, see you down at AEW, Little Caesars Arena tonight. We're going to have a good time with it.
Down there.
For D-Mac, for Sam Flannel, for Spencer Raxter, and everybody, appreciate you tapping in to Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.